Welcome, everybody, to this week's version of the Mayors and Supervisors Update. I'm Chris Carosa, publisher of the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel, and we're here every Sunday at noon, or not noon, what am I thinking? 1 o'clock or maybe a quarter after 1, depending on whether or not you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. Let's get things going right away here, starting with John Moffett, Supervisor of the town of Mendon. John, what's happening in Mendon?
As always, Chris, thanks for providing this opportunity to share information. Some of our projects, the ongoing projects that I've discussed, our electric vehicle station charging at the Mendon Public Library is proceeding. The weather has postponed them having it installed by this week, but I'm anticipating we get a little drier weather. That'll happen relatively quickly. However, that inclement weather has not stopped the roofers. So the metal roof on the community center, which also serves the Legion Post 664 and the Village of Honeoye Falls, is proceeding. And they have told me that they will have that roof finished up by Election Day, because we do not want those contractors there on Election Day. I imagine it's going to be a pretty busy place. So speaking of Election Day, the usual voting locations within the town of Mendon will be open. They did change for the primary, which was back in June. They consolidated some election polling places, but everyone should go to their normal polling place, which is either the community center, the St. Catherine's, the Schnacky Center at St. Catherine's, or the Mendon Firehouse. And if anybody has any questions, I would suggest they contact the Board of Elections. As far as the Board of Elections website, I should say, has very good information on early voting. We did approve our 2021 budget on October 19th after a public hearing. The tax rates will remain flat for both town outside the village residents and village residents. We did budget for anticipated shortfall of about $200,000 in sales tax, which has been a common subject on these calls. So we are expecting a shortfall. Obviously there were good news on the economy yesterday, or I should say on Thursday, but we're still anticipating that shortfall, just not knowing what the future holds for us. Also, we are the Post 664 is proceeding with a Veterans Day ceremony on November 11th at 11 o'clock at the Four Corners in Honeoye Falls. Rick, I don't mean to step on your toes here, but
no, not at all.
But they are proceeding with that ceremony. It is short. If you've never been to it, it is all outside. It is very, very appropriate. And I encourage all residents to come and support our Legionnaires, as well as appropriately remember our veterans that day. Also, normally we have a Veterans Day dinner at the community center at Post 664 at 167 North Main Street. We're going to proceed with that dinner, but everything will be to go. So there's no residency requirement to participate. There's no proof of being a veteran or anything like that. We just want veterans and their families to come and enjoy a dinner. And as I said, everything will be to go. Service will be directly to the car. They'll be able to pull in the parking lot and line up, and we'll bring out the dinners, however many dinners they would like, to the car, and so that they can go enjoy that with their family at home. So normally we do that in person, and we definitely will miss that opportunity to properly thank all our veterans. But we still wanted to go ahead with the to-go part of the dinner. So thank you.
That's it?
Yes.
Okay. All right, great. Rick, you are next online, so why don't you go with your report?
Sure. Thanks, Chris. And again, as John said, it's always a pleasure. I think I want to echo what John did just say, though, about the event at the Four Corners with our Legion post. It is a wonderful ceremony. It is somewhat brief. They usually will have a speaker, but as John said, they're not going to do that this year. But it is just a great time to get out and honor our vets and those who have served. And I thank the town of Mendon and the Legionnaires for that dinner that they put on every year. It's always really looked forward to by a lot of people. So thank you to them for that. As far as things in the village, we are in the midst of our budget preparations now as well. We usually wait, a little bit longer towards the end of the year before we get into ours, because our budget year goes a little bit later. But we're in the midst of it now. We also are planning on a little bit of a downturn in revenues, of course. And yes, we've been lucky, but we're still going to be behind. Our goal is also to make sure that our tax rate remains flat. It's going to be a challenge, but we're really aiming and striving to do that this year as well. We do not have, as you had mentioned earlier, we don't have any elections in the village in November. Our next elections are in March, where we will have a mayor and 2 trustees that are up for re-election. And our village justice as well. So that's been publicized, and you'll see more of that in upcoming weeks. But that is something for people to think about. Things are going very well in the village overall. As we talked about before, we kind of left it up to, local residents, whether or not they were going to get out trick or treating or whatever. And I have not heard any reports on the big event yet, but I'm sure that there will be people out and about. So I hope that everyone is driving safely and looking for those little trick-or-treaters walking up and down the sidewalks. And really, the Ontario Street project, as we were mentioning before this call started, we finally got that done. That was, over 2 years in the works. Again, I've said it before, but I want to thank Assemblywoman Burns for working with the village and helping us attain some money, some grant funding through New York State. But that was a very important project for the residents on Ontario Street especially. And that project is finally wrapped up, came out really good. The construction crew did a fantastic job. And also the gas line project also in the East Street, Ontario Street, Main Street area is completed as well. Most of the concrete work has been done, and now they're just kind of in the cleanup phase. This next week or so, we'll be really pushing the leaf pickup. So it's just important for people to understand to get their leaves out as soon as possible. Obviously, they have to all come out of the trees, but try not to wait too long. Because once that snow starts flying and we get some icy weather, it's very difficult to get them picked up. We do not pick up bagged leaves. So if you are a resident that bags the leaves, you may bring those down to the wastewater treatment plant on your own, and we will dispose of them from them. But we do not pick the bags up. So again, get those out to the curb, and I think that's going to be our focal point for the next couple of weeks. Chris, thanks very much.
Thank you, Rick. Eileen, how about Scottsville? There you go.
Okay, Scottsville's been pretty quiet this week. Just some things that we are working on. Our budget work will be starting in the coming years, so we're doing some prep work right now. The other things that we're working on are just in terms of our sick leave policy, which we think we are good with the new sick leave guidelines that we've been given. One of the things we had to look at was in terms of part-time, and we got some clarification on that. And our operational plan for health emergencies, we want to get written up and in place. So we're doing that. Just reminding everybody that this week is the election, and please get out and vote. There are no local elections at this one. Other than we do have some representatives from our area. So we are electing a state senate and an assembly person for Albany and a congressman for our area. So just please get out the vote, and the municipal building, it will be open for voting for Scottsville residents. Again, as Rick was saying, we're continuing with leaf pickup. Please get those leaves out there. He's correct in saying when the snow falls, it starts getting really difficult. So please get those leaves out to the side of the road. Again, we will not be picking up leaves in bags except for those people on the east side, excuse me, of North Road, because of the difficulty picking up with our leaf truck right now. But after November 9th, we should be able to do leaf pickup with the truck. They are working very diligently trying to get all those leaves out. So please get them to the side of the road. North Road is continuing with its paving on the east side. So they're making great progress there. Let's see, anything else? Oh, we have a new business opening on Main Street, which is always nice. The Scottsville Hair Salon will be opening up where Stilla Dance used to be, and Stilla Dance moved across the street. So we have that starting, and by the time this airs, they will have their little opening on Sunday at 12 noon. They will have had that. So let's see, anything else? Nope, that looks like, oh, Veterans Day. As far as I know, I've gotten no word, and I usually hear from the Legion way before this time. They usually have a veterans luncheon, and my guess would be that that has been canceled for this year. If I have any other news for next week, I will let you know. That's basically what they do. They had their little ceremony at the luncheon. So I'm thinking that that is canceled for this year. And that's about it. I thank you for the opportunity to get that news out.
All right, thank you, Eileen. Before we go to Mike, I just want to mention that John Carell is stepping down as mayor of the village of Lima officially on October 31st. He's handed the reins over to John Waddick, who unfortunately can't make these calls because of a scheduling conflict. However, he does send in written reports, so those reports will appear each week in the paper with the rest of the mayor and supervisor updates. But I do want to take a moment just to thank John Carell for his enthusiasm and participation, not only on this little video, but also for the community in general. He and his wife Gigi have been very involved in a number of things. A lot of people in the community know them. They don't have to be in the village of Lima to know them, and they've just been a tremendous asset. And we're sorry to see them move, but you know, that's the nature of work these days. So let's turn it over to Mike Falk, who's the supervisor of the town of Lima. How are things going there?
They are, and happy daylight savings time to everybody.
True.
The early voting lines have been quite long at the Livingston County Government Center. I'll have numbers next week to see what the turnout was. But if you do go down to Geneseo, if you're a Livingston County resident, you're going to go down there and vote, then plan to spend an hour or more waiting in line to get in. We have full security protocols in place, checkpoint at the front door with a scanning machine you have to walk through. You get temperature scanned, etc., and they only allow so many into the building at once. Voting for all Lima precincts is at the town hall this year. We have moved the voting from the GCC to the town hall. Reason being is the rooms at the GCC were a little bit smaller, and that meant we had to hire extra voting monitors to split it up between 3 rooms. This way we can do it in 2 rooms right on the first floor, in the main boardroom and the Legion room. Voting Tuesday, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. here at the Lima Town Hall. You can see a flag display in front of the town hall around the Veterans Monument that will be starting up this week. The Daughters of the American Revolution will be placing the flags there for Veterans Day. They use this as a fundraiser annually. Keith Arner has officially retired this past Friday. Thank you again, Keith, for 39 years of dedicated service to Lima. Best wishes to you on your retirement. As Chris mentioned, the Village of Lima has a new acting mayor. Welcome to John Waddick, who has moved up from deputy mayor, and he's now the acting mayor. The Corrals are, of course, headed off to Florida. And with that, not only has the mayor's position had to juggle, but Gigi was serving as the clerk for the planning and zoning boards, which we are advertising for a replacement. If that is something that you think you want to do, the ads have been running in the Sentinel and the Penny Saver and are on the town website. Our Veterans Day ceremony is going to take place on the 11th at 11 o'clock, right at the Four Corners in Lima, with everybody spread out. All the traffic stops for just a few minutes, and there's a very brief ceremony, and then everyone's on their way. Probably on their way down to Mount Morris. This year at 1 o'clock, there is going to be a flag raising at the new Veterans Monument that is there at the county building set that's outside of Mount Morris on Gypsy Lane. If you've not seen the photos, this is a new monument made by veterans for veterans. It is a giant American flag that is made up of all of these massive steel poppies that are planted in a field. Quite something to see. And because of COVID and everything else, it'll be a flag raising ceremony, and the county website will have details on when the actual facility is open. Look forward to a Flag Day full-blown ceremony. So that would be June 14th, also the Army birthday, for the actual grand opening of that monument. And I believe that is all I've got.
All right, excellent. Anybody think of any last minute things to add, or are we all set for this week?
Actually, Chris, I hate to do this. I do have a couple of things that I certainly should have remembered. My apologies, but I just wanted to let everyone know we're still actively working with the fire department on the Christmas holiday parade this year. You know, that's a huge event in the village, and we're really struggling a little bit back and forth as to changing the parade up a little bit. Can we keep it safe? You know, can we do a different route? You know, how do we, and that's the struggle, how do we not have 2,000 people at the four corners of the village hall, or of the village, because it's such a popular event. We haven't canceled it yet. We're trying, and we're really struggling with how we're going to make this work. So, you know, people should kind of keep tuned to the Sentinel and any other media, you know, for that. We'll be trying to update that as best we can, and have a final determination soon, but we want to make sure we do the right thing as well. The other thing is we do have a pretty nice new project that's before our zoning board, and it's the old Wolfberger Park area, the fields, if you will, behind Pride Street and off of North Main Street, also known as the Jacobs property. There is a potential housing development that's going to go in there, and there's actually a public hearing on Monday evening at 7 p.m. and information to you know, get on that public hearing or listen in is on our village website. I think it's been sent to the Sentinel. If not, we'll make sure it gets to you, Chris. But that is a real nice potential housing development. but that public hearing is Monday at 7 PM. So we'll make sure we have that duly posted. So I wanted to make sure people are aware of that.
All right, great.
And that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for being here this week for the Mayors and Supervisors Update. We'll look forward to hearing from you next week and maybe getting some new news on various things. So long for now. Bye.
Bye now.
Bye, everyone.